Hey y'all, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a Q&A because I have gotten lots of new friends recently, and so I wanted to do a little video answering any of your questions so that you could get to know me a little bit better. But if you don't know, my name is Amy Darley if you're new, and I live in Savannah, Georgia, and I'm just going to be sharing more about me. I asked for you guys to give me some questions in my laundry routine video and also over on Instagram, so I got a huge list of questions to answer. So I wrote a bunch of these down on my notepad. I'm going to get to as many questions as I can. I'm going to try to be quick and thorough so that I'm not spending too much time on each question. I do have a lot of really good videos coming out to where you'll get to know me even better. I asked for lots of video suggestions as well recently, and so it seems like a lot of you want more videos so that you can get to know me, and I have a lot of those planned, so I hope that you will subscribe and get to know me a little bit better from this video. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It does help me out and it lets me know that you like videos like this and to keep doing more of them. And I know that you guys are going to get to know a lot about me from this video, but I want this video to be super laid back, just like I'm talking to a bunch of my friends, because that's what you guys are to me. And I also want to know about you because I love having conversations with you guys down in the comments. And if you can relate to anything that I'm saying today, anything that just resonates with you, or something that we have in common, or you want to tell me about where you're from, your family, any of that kind of stuff, I love getting to read those comments and getting to know you guys as well. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into these questions. Make sure to stay till the end, and hopefully you'll find some new things out about me that you find interesting. I also tried to group these questions based on like what they were about, so hopefully I do a good job doing all that. All right, so first question is, how did you meet Chance? And I have done a Q&A in the past, but I know it was so long ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys the really quick version of how I met him. Me and Chance both went to Valdosta State, and which is South Georgia, and he was a football player. I was a cheerleader. He saw me in my first semester there. He picked me out on the football field and actually told one of my friends that he wanted to pretty much get to know me, and that friend never told me. I had no clue who he was. And then in January, so that was in the fall, then in January we ended up in a class together, some random art class that I don't even know why we were taking, but it was one elective, but we ended up in that class together. And a few months later, he told me the whole story. We ended up talking a lot. I found out that he went to the Baptist Student Union, which I had wanted to go to, but I didn't know anyone there. So we started going there and talking and chatting, and the rest is history. So we fell in love, ended up moving back here to Savannah after we graduated college, and everything happened from there. But another question that I had was, did your husband grow up in Georgia? Did you grow up in Georgia? And yes, I grew up in Middle Georgia, Warner Robins to be exact. I know some of my subscribers are from Warner Robins and have told me, and that's really cool. But my husband grew up in Savannah, and that's where we ended up back at after we got married. The next question is, what did you do before YouTube? And I was a teacher for 9.5 years. I loved it and finally was able to stay at home with my kids. So that's where my heart was at this point, and finally was able to make it happen. That could be a whole long drawn out other video on how I became a stay-at-home mom. So let me know if you want to see that video, but a lot of you do know the whole situation. But anyways, it took a long time, but finally I became a stay-at-home mom. I run an Etsy shop, and I have my YouTube channel. Next question is, do you ever go down to River Street? This is someone that says that they used to visit a lot and really love River Street, and yes, we do. We don't go a ton, but we do like to go down there several, maybe like once a month. We'll go down to River Street or go downtown and just take the kids down there. They love going downtown Savannah because it's like a whole new world out there. There's just tons of different types of people, and it's so touristy. It's really neat. There's lots of things to do. So yes, we do go down there. We try to go like once a month. Favorite restaurants in Savannah. So when I started my YouTube channel, I actually thought about doing some videos that was like, so that you could see Savannah, and I know a few people have told me that they wanted to see things like that, but I'm not sure that those videos would do very well on my channel. But if you guys would like to see more videos on Savannah and things to do, restaurants, all that kind of stuff to show you more of what Savannah life is like, then let me know in the comments, and maybe we can start putting some of those videos together, maybe like once a month or something like that. But some of my favorite restaurants I have talked about before, and if you follow me on Instagram, then you guys probably already know, but one of my favorite restaurants is The Grove, and that's downtown. And then another restaurant that I really like is the Driftaway Cafe. It's not downtown, but Savannah's really big, so there are a lot of places to eat, but I really like Driftaway. And yeah, so I could go on and tell you like a billion restaurants to eat at, but maybe I'll have to do a video on maybe like my top 10 places or my top 5 places, something like that. How do you fit in date night without mom guilt? Honestly, when my kids were really little, it was hard for me to get away from the kids. I just felt like I always needed to be with them. But as they've gotten older, I've realized that me and my husband need time too. We need time to have fun together without the kids, because one day they're not going to be there and we're not going to have anything to talk about if our life just revolves around our kids. So we have definitely made it a priority to go hang out with friends without the kids and get a babysitter, or let them spend the night at the grandparents' house, or just go on a date night, just the two of us. And it always is so refreshing and lots of fun. And honestly, I have enjoyed it, like getting to go out without the kids and have a normal, just adult conversation. So I think if you just put yourself out there and just keep doing it, then it gets so much easier. And I have no mom guilt at all whenever I go to dinner or go on a date. Now, going out of town is a little bit different. Sometimes I do have to like going up to the time when we're gonna go out of town and leave the kids is really hard. We have not done that a lot. So that's where I have a bigger struggle than just doing a date night, if that makes sense. The next question is, do you want more kids? And we kind of talked about this a little bit in our Q&A that I did with Chance too. That was like way back when I started my channel. But no, we do not plan on having any more kids. I think we are good with the 2 that we have. I am super blessed. I have a boy and a girl. I think maybe if we had 2 of the same, like if I had 2 boys or 2 girls, we maybe would have had a third. But I'm super content with just 2 kids. I mean, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. I feel like we are doing super well with just 2 kids, so I think we're good with the 2 that we have. The next question was, do you have any favorite baby names? And I actually have a lot of really a lot of great baby names that I love. I've gotten this question a lot because some people are like, oh, I really love your kids' baby names. How did you pick them? Or do you have any Southern baby names that you like? And I could go on and on with baby names that I like. So I actually think I'm gonna do a video that's separate from this one, maybe like my top 10 favorite baby names or something like that. So y'all let me know if y'all want to see that video. Next one is parenting advice on sibling disagreement, entitlement, or meltdowns. And this is something that I feel like everyone has their own parenting style, and I preach this on my channel all the time, is that just because something works for me does not mean that it's gonna work for you. But I will tell you guys a little bit of what I do with this situation. So when the kids disagree, it just depends on the situation, but if one of them says something that's ugly to the other one, first thing they have to do is apologize. If they keep on, then they go to timeout. Timeout is what has worked for our family. We absolutely love it. I don't disagree with spankings. Now beatings, heck yes, I disagree with that. But I don't disagree with spankings if it works for your kids. But for me, spankings never worked with either one of mine. I mean, Now, if my kid were to like run into the street or something that was like dangerous, then I might pop them on their bottom or something like that, just because I feel like that is an endangerment. Like that's something that they need a super quick reaction. But for other things like misbehaving or throwing a temper tantrum, things like that, then they go straight to timeout. And usually when they come out, they are fine the rest of the day. All they need is maybe a warning later or something like that. But I do always give a warning first, unless it's like hitting or kicking or something like that. If they put their hands on another one, then they go straight to timeout. I don't have any tolerance with any of that. So they do go straight to their rooms. And timeout, just the time for each of them, it just kind of depends on the age. When they were little, then it was a lot shorter, obviously. Now they'll be in their room for 5 or 10 minutes, and usually I just set the timer and I tell them if they come out, then they add a minute to their time. So unless they have to go to the bathroom or something, which mine will try to take advantage of that, but I know if they have to use the bathroom or not, for real. With entitlement, oh, like my kids can feel like, I feel like sometimes they can act like they are entitled, for sure. That's when we sit down and we talk about things that, like, real world problems that kids have, and I try to be super blunt with them and give them lots of examples instead of just saying, you're so lucky to have this. I try to give them examples, especially from real life examples that we've heard in our church. And I think our church does a really good job about this too, is like putting other people's problems out there so that they can see how blessed you are, and that things are things. You don't get everything that you want, you work for it, yada yada. So we do try to use examples a lot when it comes to that. And meltdowns, same thing, timeout. A lot of times when my kids have meltdowns, it's usually from when they've been on their iPads. So a lot of times we will do a complete detox from their iPads. If they have a meltdown and I tell them to turn it off and they don't turn it off when I tell them to, or they pitch a fit or something like that, then a lot of times they will lose their iPads for days or even weeks. So, and I promise you, whenever they've gone without their iPads for like a week, they're totally different kids, and I love it. They're finding other things to do. So yeah, I feel like most of the time if we have a meltdown, it's either because they're super tired or they have been on their iPad, and yeah. Next question is, how do you keep true to your faith in today's society, being on a public platform? Honestly, like, my faith is everything. I wouldn't have this channel without it. I wouldn't have, you know, God is the whole reason that I'm even doing this whole YouTube channel. I want to be a blessing to others, and you guys are such a blessing to me, but I want you guys to know that my whole journey here on YouTube is literally to encourage others, to lift you up, and to let you see that my life is not perfect. I know that it's hard when you're posting videos and you don't want to put like all the ugly, vulnerable stuff out there, and I don't put everything out there, obviously, and I do probably share more on my Instagram than I do in my videos, but I do want to be here to encourage you guys and let you know that you're doing a great job, especially you mamas. And like I said, I just know that I wouldn't be here without the Lord in the first place. He's put this in my life for a reason, and so how could I not talk about him? That's my vision, that's my thoughts on it, so yeah. The next one is, let's see. I know that there was another one about, oh, what church do you go to? My church is called Compassion Christian. It used to be called Savannah Christian, but they have so many different locations, not just in Savannah now, so they changed the name a few years ago to Compassion. They do have a Facebook page, so if you don't have a church in your area and you want to watch them live, then definitely go to it. I'll actually put their link in the description box in case you want to check them out. My pastor is amazing. I just love our church. It's a really big church, but there's lots of different campuses, like I said, and some of those campuses are a lot smaller. The one that we go to is a bigger church, but the kids ministry is amazing. My kids love it. Like, it's just awesome. A lot of our friends go there. Favorite book of the Bible to study is Matthew. I don't know why. I feel like probably because I've read it the most, but that's probably my favorite book to study of the Bible. Let's see. My favorite Bible study that I have done is Seamless. I've talked about this one before. I'll link it. Actually, I have it linked in my Amazon favorites, which is in the description box. So I do have several Bible studies that I've done that I love in my Amazon favorites. So if you want to check that out, but Seamless is my absolute favorite. Let's see. All right. The next question is, do you have any siblings? And they said they wanted to know more about my family, like my mom, my dad, and all of that. And I'll go ahead and tell you, yes, I have 2 siblings. I have a sister, her name is Christy, and she's 3 years younger than me. And then I have a stepbrother who lives in Pennsylvania, and he is like 8 years younger than me. So I do have those 2. That's all the siblings I have. Chance has a sister too, and she's amazing. She's a few years older than me, and we're pretty close too. But I'm thinking I'm gonna do a Draw My Life video. That's been a big suggestion for me recently. I've had like 5 or 6 people ask for me to do that. So I'm thinking I'll do a Draw My Life so that you can kind of hear more about my family and that. The next question is, somebody asked me on Instagram, why aren't you on She Just Blooms account anymore? Which, if you don't know what She Just Blooms is, it's just an account where there were, I think, 6 different girls, and we posted on different days of the week. And my day was on Thursdays, and it was all about like house stuff. And I ended up getting out of the group only because Thursdays were super crazy for me, and I just felt like I was getting overwhelmed and starting to have lots of anxiety about not being able to keep up with YouTube, my Etsy shop, another Instagram account. Like, it was just a lot, and I love those girls over there. They're all super sweet. I'm still friends with them, but I am not on there anymore just because you cannot do it all. And if I was gonna take one thing away, it was gonna be the first thing that didn't really have to do with my YouTube channel and my Instagram account, if that makes sense. The next question, how old are you? I guess I probably should have told y'all that way earlier in the video, but I am 32, but my birthday is on March 5th, and I will be 33. I feel old, especially on YouTube. I don't know why. The next question is, are you in your forever home? And I'm not gonna say it's our forever home. I love our house. I love our location, our neighborhood, everything about it. But I know that I probably wanna stay here at least until my kids are out of school. Now, when we retire, who knows where we'll be. I love the community and everything else, but who knows? I don't really know that for sure, but I know that we will probably stay here at least for our through our kids going to high school and all of that. The next question is tips for building. I have lots of tips for building. So I feel like that needs to be a separate video because otherwise this video is gonna be super long. So let me know if you want me to make a video on like building your home and tips for that. Because like I said, I have lots of ideas for a video for that, but one main tip that I will give, so that way I can answer this question. One main tip is to interview different builders before you decide on one. So we interviewed a couple different builders. We picked our builder out of that, all of the suggested builders that we had. We picked him after we had interviewed, and we love him. We're still friends. We still have him come over and do all kinds of stuff. So definitely interview your builder. Make sure that it's the person that you want to work with because it's a big deal when you're building a house. All right, the next questions. Do you travel? If so, where are your favorite places to go? And do you have any vacation plans coming up? So we love to travel. We don't travel very far often just because we do have little kids, and for most of their lives, we've been either paying off debt or saving money and trying not to spend too much money on different vacations. And we're still kind of at that point where we don't take a ton of vacations, but we do try to take several a year. I think that that's a big thing that I have always wanted for my family is I know the memories that are made on vacations, so I feel like it's very important to have that in our lives, so we will save for it and we will make sure that we have the option to go on vacations. But favorite places to go are Disney for sure. It's my absolute favorite place to take the kids. And then let's see. Anywhere in Florida, we took them to St. Augustine last year for spring break and we loved it. The beach, anything that's tropical, we love going to. Now eventually, hopefully we'll travel more across country or out of the country, things like that. As far as vacations coming up, Chance and I have a vacation with our friends coming up in July and we're going to the Dominican Republic. We're super excited because we had planned last year to do something all-inclusive for our 10-year anniversary because last year was 10 years. But we ended up going to Universal Studios for a few days instead because we're big Harry Potter fans and we wanted to do all of that, and we just figured why not go ahead and do that. And then this year we're actually going with a bunch of friends and doing the all-inclusive thing. So I'm super excited about that. And we do have spring break. Our spring break is kind of late this year. It's really weird. It's like at the end of April and our kids get out for summer break at the end of May. So I don't really like that because they only have like, I think 3 or 4 weeks left of school after they come back from spring break. But we're trying to figure out what we want to do for that. So if you do have any ideas, we usually like to drive. So maybe something in Florida or something in Georgia. I don't know. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do for spring break. But those are all the vacations that we actually have planned. Now I would like to go to Disney. Hopefully I can talk Chance into it. Later on in the year, we'll see. We just got back from Disney actually at Christmas time. So we'll see if we'll get to do that again. All right. Oh, I feel like I've answered a ton of questions. All right, next is on Etsy. So I try to kind of group these together. Some of you asked me, what is your work from home business and how did you get started? So my work from home business originally was Etsy and then I started YouTube, so now I have both. I am building a website. It's going to be like a website / blog / storefront. So I'm going to be getting rid of some of the things that I have in my current Etsy shop, and I'm going to be going to nothing but printed t-shirts and mugs. I'm going to have, a lot of you have asked me about all the shirt, like my graphic tees that I wear, the ones that have like Bible verses, or I have one that says choose joy. I have several different shirts that I wear all the time, and you guys have asked me about those. Well, I don't have all those designs in my Etsy shop yet, but when I open my storefront on my website, I'm gonna have lots of those designs for you guys to choose from. They're all gonna be printed tees, which makes it so much easier on me because I don't have to physically press them or do any of that. It'll come from a printing company. And then a lot of those designs will also be available on coffee mugs and things like that. And then I'm hoping to have some downloadable stuff for you guys to be able to use as well. So be on the lookout for that. Another question about my Etsy shop was, I do use vinyl and a heat press. So when I make my shirts right now, I have some that are printed, some that I use vinyl on. And so another question I got was, what heat press do you use? And I have that one, the one that I bought is linked in my Amazon favorites. So if you want to check that one out, that's the heat press that I use. And then for another question was Silhouette or Cameo. So those are two cutting machines. I have a Silhouette. I like it so much better than I used to have a Silhouette or Cricut. So I have a Silhouette. I used to have a Cricut, and that was when Cricut first came out though, or was a lot older. And I didn't like it just because you had to have cartridges. I have no idea what the Cricuts are like now because I've been using this Silhouette Cameo for so long, but I absolutely love it. I feel like it's so easy to use, especially with the program that it comes with. So I prefer the Silhouette. Let's see. I did do an Etsy video about how to start your Etsy shop. So if you wanted to see that video, I'll have it linked down in the description box. I'll link it up in the card so you can see it as well. But those are some tips that I have on starting an Etsy shop. I also got lots of questions about YouTube and starting a channel, things that I use, all kinds of different stuff. So I'm thinking, since I have so many questions, I'm gonna do a completely separate video on YouTube Q&A and maybe some tips, things that I have that would be helpful. I'm not a pro, but I do feel like I have finally gotten in the groove. I've learned so much in this last year doing YouTube, and I definitely wanna help you guys if you're interested in starting a channel. I just feel like it's so much fun, and so many people always tell me that they want to do it, but they're scared to start. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to start and give you some tips so that you can be successful on YouTube as well. All right, I feel like I answered a bazillion questions by now, and I'm actually like kind of getting hot. It's 75 degrees here today. It's so nice. I'm in heaven. I love warm weather. But anyways, all right, so I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you got to know me a little bit better, and definitely leave me a comment down below if you enjoyed it. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.